Hey everyone, how's it going today? One thing I want to talk with you all about today is healing and just how your body is healing and your healing process. And I just want to talk a little bit about the healing process with you all because it's been a common thread with many of you and people who I've talked to recently about the healing process and how we view some result as bad and some other results as good, and we've really placed these conditions on healing. And I completely understand that if you've had an experience with cancer and you have news that you're cancer free, that is absolutely awesome and something to absolutely celebrate, and that shouldn't be downplayed at all, and that goes for any condition that you've been struggling with. Sometimes we view our bodies as and our diagnoses as our identity, and so we really identify with if, say, you get a result on a test that wasn't really what you were expecting or hoping for, and so then that sends us down into a downward spiral. Our medical system and our overall, culture has trained us to think that, if your results aren't bells and whistles and you're the healthiest person on the planet, then it's bad, you've done something wrong, you're less than. And these are really huge blind beliefs and really big negative thought forms that many people take on when it comes to their health. So today is just an invitation. If you're someone who has regular blood work, maybe scans, maybe you've had cancer and you go back for scans, and if you have something show up on a test that really doesn't sit well with you and it's disturbing and it's not the outcome you wanted, first of all, it's really important to get to this place where you can accept and see that it's not about anything you've done wrong. It's not that you're a bad person and you're no less than someone who didn't have that result on a test. That's so important to keep in mind, because the medical community can put us in a box and say, okay, now there's something wrong with you, and so now you need to do this treatment, and they kind of lay out your treatment strategy for you. Super disempowering. You want to be able to create your own treatment strategy by pooling in the community and resources that sit well with you, not based on anybody else's outcome or statistics, but what feels good to your own unique healing process. And it's important to take time with that process and not make a decision right away, because we can get a test result and then immediately say, yes, I want that surgery, or, yes, I want that. And we usually make these decisions at that time from a place of fear, mostly fear, panic, a sense of urgency, when really making a choice from those places is not going to be rooted in your own truth, your own knowingness about your healing path. It's not going to align with that, no matter what anyone tries to persuade you. It's really important to take the time that you need to consider what approach and healing steps and practitioners may work best for you. And that may be the surgery, but you need the time to sit with it and to allow all of those negative thought forms and blind beliefs to move on by and get into a place of real centeredness before making your decisions. Also, when you're on your healing path, if you get a result that isn't what you desired on a test, or on blood work, or anything that quote unquote measures where you're at health wise, this doesn't mean a negative thing. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be that you're going to die. It doesn't have to be that you've failed. Instead, I'm inviting you to look at this as information. So maybe you had a result on a test that wasn't what you desired, and it sends you down this rabbit hole of just negativity and this sucks, and why is it always me getting sick, and why I do all these things, why am I still feeling like crap? And then we get into those really heavy emotions that really promote the opposite of well-being. So when you, if you're someone who has these experiences, I invite you to look at them as, okay, this is information, and this is going to help me get to the next step. We tend to think of, if we have a disease and then, the test will show we don't have it, and so we don't have it anymore, and that's it, I'm done with it, and thank God for that. But really, there's invaluable learning along the way. So if you have a test result you don't like, this is information of, okay, now what can I bring into my life to help, what else needs to come in to help support my journey, to help support my body to heal this even more. Okay, that's still showing that it's there. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with me. I didn't do anything wrong. But now let's take a deeper look at it. What's my next step now? Healing, people think it's just a single event. You've had a degenerative disease, maybe you've had an experience with cancer, maybe you've had some digestive disorder, maybe you're always tired, and we just want to, we think of healing as soon as that's gone, then I'm healed. But your entire life is healing. Every single day, you're doing something to heal your body, whether it's through food or supplements or breathing fresh air or taking a bath or going for walks. Life is healing, and if we're not healing ourselves every single day in some way, then of course we're going to set the stage for other illnesses to come in. And if that happens, again, that's not a bad thing. We tend to view illness as bad and less than, but really it's information to help guide you to the next step. Okay, what do I need to look at now? Where is this leading me now? What maybe didn't I gain so much clarity about the first time around, or the second time around, or the 20th time around, that now really wants to come in? And allowing yourself to sit with that and be with that and have space with that to really ponder, okay, what are my next steps that need to come in? And that's something really important to just ponder and explore, because if we can look at healing and more so as a cyclical thing versus an event, it can be really helpful, because then you can just see your healing process as a cycle, and as a lifelong investment to you, and to continuously benefiting and growing and transforming yourself. So that's something to keep in mind when you're healing. Don't let the tests determine how you feel. You're in control of how you feel, and you're in control of how you want to approach your healing. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. You have to do what feels best to you. And each step that you take, okay, maybe something shows up on your body that's a little disturbing. Maybe you get something on a test result that's a little disturbing. That's information. Get curious about it. Okay, why? Okay, and be with that and explore all the different emotions and feelings that come up around it, and try not to get stuck in that wallowing place, or that really heavy place, like this sucks and there's nothing, I do all these things, there's nothing I can do about it, and there's nothing you've done wrong. You haven't done anything wrong, and you can just let the heaviness go and really explore, your passions for life and next steps for healing, and explore your emotions around the process, and explore, okay, maybe something else needs to come into my diet. Maybe I need to take a closer look at this aspect of my body, that I haven't really considered yet. Or maybe I need to take a look at this modality that I've always been kind of curious about and called to, but I haven't really explored yet. So that's just a little invitation to look at these diagnostic tools or things that come up on your body in ways that are where you're more curious about them versus you're beating yourself up. Or, you sit with them and you have time with them and you let the emotions out with them. And, because these tests don't determine anything about you. They have nothing to do with, who you are and your passions, but they do provide information with next steps to healing. So there's always next steps to healing. It'll never end. You'll never not have a next step to healing. I never don't have a next step to healing. Every day I wake up, there's something else that comes up to heal. Oh, this is a little bit sore. I have a little bit of a headache today. This doesn't feel so good. You know, my stool looked like this today. And so there's always things to be taking closer, looks at and things to really continuously heal. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. There's just more to ponder. And you just keep along that cycle. And the more open-minded and positive you can stay and upbeat about that process and the curiosity you can bring in, it's just the more and more you will get out of and learn about yourself and your own healing process. So I'm not sure if that resonated with any of you, but if you have any questions or comments you want to share about this, please feel free to do so, because I feel like this is a big topic that's not often talked about. We get a diagnosis or have something show up on our body, and then, we immediately go to, I totally messed up, what's wrong with me, and we go down that negative spiral. We just don't need to do that anymore. We've been trained to do that. That's not even a natural thing, but our culture and medical system has trained us to go down the rabbit hole, get negative, and wallow in those feelings. But you don't have to do that. There's other choices and ways of feeling and approaching these sort of things that are much more empowering and enriching to your own healing journey. Okay, hope that was helpful. And again, post your questions or comments below. I'd love to hear anyone's insights if they want to share.